The events of September 11th, 2001 profoundly reshaped global perceptions of security and terrorism. However, a significant segment of the population harbors deep-seated doubts about the official narrative. These doubts coalesce into what is widely known as the 9/11 inside job conspiracy theory. Proponents of this theory suggest that elements within the United States government either orchestrated or allowed the attacks to occur. One of the most frequently cited anomalies is the collapse of World Trade Center building, Building 7, WTC-7. A 47-story skyscraper fell symmetrically into its own footprint hours after the Twin Towers. It was not directly hit by an airplane. Official reports attribute its collapse to uncontrolled fires, a claim many find difficult to accept. Skeptics point to the fact that no steel-framed skyscraper had ever collapsed due to fire before or since. They argue that the collapse resembled a controlled demolition. Videos of WTC-7's collapse show a rapid, uniform descent, which some believe is indicative of explosives. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, concluded that thermal expansion of steel beams caused the collapse. However, critics contend that NIST's models do not fully explain the observed free-fall acceleration. Another major point of contention revolves around the Pentagon attack. The official account states that American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the building. However, many conspiracy theorists argue that the damage to the Pentagon was inconsistent with a Boeing 757. They point to the relatively small entry hole and the lack of visible wing or engine debris. Some suggest that a missile or a smaller, unmanned aircraft was used instead. The absence of extensive high-resolution surveillance footage from the Pentagon is also a frequent concern. Only a few frames from a security camera were released, showing a blurry object. The fate of United Airlines Flight 93, which crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, also fuels speculation. The official story is that passengers and crew fought back against the hijackers, causing the plane to crash. However, some theorists claim that the plane was shot down by a military jet. They cite eyewitness accounts of a white plane or military aircraft in the vicinity. The debris field in Shanksville was reportedly spread over several miles, which some argue is inconsistent with a single plane crash. The controlled demolition theory is perhaps the most pervasive aspect of the 9/11 conspiracy. It posits that explosives were pre-planted in the Twin Towers and WTC-7. The speed and symmetry of the collapses are often cited as evidence. The presence of molten metal found in the debris pile also raises questions for some. This molten metal, they argue, suggests temperatures far exceeding those achievable by office fires. Thermite, an incendiary compound, is often proposed as the source of this extreme heat. The official explanation for the molten metal is that it was aluminum from the planes, which melted and mixed with other materials. However, critics argue that aluminum melting alone would not produce the observed effects. The stand-down theory suggests that military air defenses were deliberately ordered to stand down. This would have allowed the hijacked planes to reach their targets unimpeded. Normally, military interceptors would be scrambled within minutes of a deviation from flight plans. On 9/11, however, there were significant delays in the military response. Official explanations cite confusion, communication breakdowns, and unprecedented circumstances. Conspiracy theorists, however, view these delays as evidence of complicity. The issue of foreknowledge is another critical component of the conspiracy theories. Some believe that certain individuals or groups had prior knowledge of the attacks. This includes alleged insider trading on airline stocks before 9/11. Unusual put options were placed on United Airlines and American Airlines stock. These options would have yielded significant profits if the stock prices plummeted, as they did after the attacks. While investigations found no conclusive evidence of insider trading linked to foreknowledge, doubts persist. The motivations attributed to the alleged perpetrators of an inside job vary. Some suggest it was a pretext for invading Afghanistan and Iraq. Others believe it was to justify increased military spending and erosion of civil liberties. The Patriot Act, passed shortly after 9/11, significantly expanded government surveillance powers. This legislation is often cited as a direct consequence and potential motive. The official 9/11 Commission report, released in 2004, aimed to provide a comprehensive account. However, many conspiracy theorists criticize its findings and methodology. They argue that key evidence was ignored or downplayed. The commission itself faced challenges, including limited funding and access to information. The scientific community largely dismisses the inside job theories. Engineers, physicists, and other experts have published analyses supporting the official narrative. They explain the collapses through the combined effects of impact damage and fire. The intense heat from the jet fuel and office fires weakened the steel structures. This weakening, they argue, led to progressive collapse. Despite the scientific consensus, the theories persist and continue to evolve. The internet has played a significant role in disseminating these alternative viewpoints. Websites, documentaries, and online forums provide platforms for discussion and evidence sharing. The emotional impact of 9/11 also contributes to the enduring appeal of conspiracy theories. For some, the idea that such a catastrophic event could be the result of a small group of terrorists is too simplistic. They seek a more complex explanation, one that assigns blame to powerful, hidden forces. The desire for accountability and justice also drives many adherents. They believe that a full, transparent investigation has not yet occurred. The Truth Movement encompasses a diverse range of individuals and groups. They often organize conferences, protests, and media campaigns. The legacy of 9/11 continues to be debated and reinterpreted. The official narrative remains the widely accepted account. However, the inside job theories represent a persistent counter-narrative. These theories challenge fundamental assumptions about government transparency and trustworthiness. The debate over 9/11's true nature is unlikely to subside soon. It reflects broader societal anxieties about power, control, and information. The collapse of the Twin Towers was unprecedented in modern architectural history. The speed of their descent, approaching free fall, is a key argument for controlled demolition. The presence of dust clouds expanding outwards during the collapses is also noted. These clouds, some argue, are consistent with explosive charges. The official explanation attributes the dust to pulverized concrete and other materials. The sound of explosions reported by some witnesses before the collapses is another piece of anecdotal evidence. These reports are often dismissed as the sounds of the buildings failing or other impacts. The structural integrity of the Twin Towers was designed to withstand significant impact. The core columns were particularly robust. The idea that fire alone could cause such a complete and rapid failure is questioned. The role of jet fuel fires is central to the official narrative. However, jet fuel burns at a temperature lower than the melting point of steel. Proponents of the official account emphasize that steel loses strength significantly before melting. The impact of the planes also severed fireproofing from the steel. This exposed the steel to direct heat, accelerating its weakening. The pancake collapse theory describes how floors successively collapsed onto each other. This theory is used to explain the rapid descent of the towers. However, critics argue that this model doesn't fully account for the complete pulverization of concrete. The sheer volume of fine dust produced is a point of contention. The presence of nanothermite residues in the dust samples is a claim made by some researchers. Nanothermite is a highly energetic material used in explosives and incendiaries. This claim is highly controversial and disputed by mainstream scientists. The chain of command for air defense on 9/11 is complex. NORAD and the FAA were involved in tracking the hijacked planes. The timeline of events, particularly the delays in scrambling jets, is scrutinized. Some argue that the delays were too significant to be merely accidental. The War Games theory suggests that military exercises on 9/11 caused confusion. Several exercises were indeed underway that day, simulating hijacked planes. Conspiracy theorists believe these exercises were used to mask the real attacks. The official explanation is that the exercises complicated, but did not prevent the response. The lack of black box recordings from the Pentagon in Shanksville is a recurring concern. While some data was recovered, the full recordings were not publicly released. This fuels suspicions of a cover-up. The role of Saudi Arabia in the 9/11 attacks is another area of intense scrutiny. Some classified documents allegedly point to Saudi connections. The release of these documents has been a long-standing demand of victims' families. The Project for the New American Century, PNAC, is often cited by theorists. This neoconservative think tank advocated for a more assertive U.S. foreign policy. A PNAC document from 2000 mentioned the need for a new Pearl Harbor event. This phrase is interpreted by some as foreknowledge or a desire for a catalyst. The psychological impact of such a massive trauma also plays a role. People often struggle to accept random, senseless acts of violence. A conspiracy theory can offer a sense of order or control in a chaotic world. It provides an explanation, even if it's a dark one. The false flag operation concept is central to many inside job theories. A false flag is a covert operation designed to appear as if carried out by another entity. In this context, it would mean the attacks were made to look like Al-Qaeda's doing. The official narrative identifies Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden as the sole perpetrators. However, some theorists argue that Al-Qaeda lacked the sophistication for such an attack. They suggest a more powerful, state-sponsored entity must have been involved. The lack of a comprehensive investigation into the Pentagon attack is a frequent complaint. The debris field and impact site were quickly cleared. This rapid cleanup is seen by some as an attempt to destroy evidence. The official explanation is that it was necessary for recovery efforts and security. The role of intelligence agencies before 9/11 is also questioned. There were warnings and intelligence reports about potential attacks. The failure to connect the dots is attributed to bureaucratic failures and lack of communication. However, some believe it was a deliberate failure to act. The Lucky Larry theory refers to Larry Silverstein, the leaseholder of the WTC complex. He had recently taken out a new insurance policy covering terrorist attacks. His comments about pulling WTC-7 are often cited. He later clarified that pull meant pulling firefighters from the building. However, the initial ambiguity fueled suspicions. The sheer scale of the alleged conspiracy is a challenge for its proponents. Maintaining secrecy among so many participants would be incredibly difficult. Yet the belief in a powerful, secretive cabal persists. The no-plane theory for the Pentagon attack is a more extreme variant. It suggests that no plane hit the Pentagon at all, but rather a missile. This theory relies heavily on the lack of clear photographic evidence of a plane. However, numerous eyewitnesses reported seeing a plane. The debris recovered from the Pentagon site was also identified as belonging to a Boeing 757. The pod theory suggests that the planes were equipped with external pods. These pods, it is claimed, contain explosives or other devices. This theory attempts to explain the rapid collapses and other anomalies. However, there is no credible evidence to support the existence of such pods. The global war on terror was launched in response to 9/11. This military campaign has had far-reaching consequences. Conspiracy theorists often link the attacks directly to this subsequent foreign policy. The narrative of a pre-planned event serves to justify this connection. The role of media in shaping public perception is also a topic of discussion. Some believe that mainstream media actively suppresses alternative theories. They argue that only the official narrative is presented. This leads to a lack of critical examination of the evidence. The architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth Group is prominent. They present technical arguments against the official collapse theories. Their work focuses on structural mechanics and thermodynamics. The debate over 9/11 is not just about facts, but also about trust. Trust in government, institutions, and media is at stake. The enduring nature of the conspiracy theories highlights this crisis of trust. The memory of 9/11 remains vivid for many. The images of the collapsing towers are seared into collective consciousness. These powerful visuals contribute to the emotional weight of the debate. The search for answers continues for many. Whether those answers will ever fully satisfy all remains to be seen. The official narrative is supported by extensive investigations and scientific analysis. However, the alternative theories offer a different lens through which to view the events. The complexity of the event itself lends itself to multiple interpretations. The human desire for meaning in tragedy is profound. Sometimes, simple explanations are not enough to process immense loss. The inside job theories provide a framework for understanding that loss. They offer a narrative where human agency, rather than random chance, is at play. This can be a comforting, albeit disturbing, thought for some. The ongoing debate ensures that 9/11 remains a topic of intense public interest. It forces a re-examination of established facts and narratives. The legacy of 9/11 is still being written, in many ways. The impact of the attacks reverberates through society. The questions raised by conspiracy theories are part of that reverberation. They represent a challenge to official accounts. The pursuit of truth, however elusive, continues. The events of that day changed the world forever. And the debate over their true nature is a testament to their enduring significance. The collapse of the Twin Towers was a spectacle of unimaginable scale. The sheer volume of debris and dust was overwhelming. The fires burned for weeks in the wreckage. The recovery efforts were immense and dangerous. The health effects on first responders are still being studied. The emotional scars of 9/11 run deep. The theories offer a way for some to process that pain. They provide an outlet for grief and anger. Search for meaning in tragedy is a universal human experience. The inside job theories are a manifestation of this search. They reflect a deep-seated need for answers. The official narrative, while comprehensive, does not satisfy everyone. The sheer scale of the tragedy makes it difficult to fully comprehend. The human mind often seeks patterns and explanations, even where none exist. This inherent tendency can lead to the development of complex theories. The Internet amplifies these tendencies. Information, both factual and speculative, spreads rapidly. The echo chambers of online communities reinforce existing beliefs. This makes it challenging to bridge the divide between narratives. The debate over 9/11 is a microcosm of broader societal divisions. It reflects differing views on authority, truth, and evidence. The passage of time does not diminish the intensity of these discussions. New generations encounter the events and form their own conclusions. The inside job theories are a part of this ongoing historical process. They are a testament to the human need to question and seek deeper meaning. The legacy of 9/11 is complex and multifaceted. It encompasses both the official narrative and the alternative theories. Both contribute to the ongoing understanding of that pivotal day. The search for truth is a continuous journey. And for many, the journey regarding 9/11 is far from over. The events of September 11th, 2001 remain a subject of intense scrutiny and debate. The official account, while widely accepted, faces persistent challenges from various quarters. These challenges often coalesce around the notion of an inside job or government complicity. The collapse of World Trade Center Building 7 is a cornerstone of these alternative theories. Its symmetrical descent, without direct plane impact, raises significant questions for skeptics. The official explanation of fire-induced collapse is often met with disbelief. No other steel-framed building has ever collapsed solely due to fire. This unique occurrence fuels the controlled demolition hypothesis. Videos showing WTC-7's rapid, uniform fall are frequently analyzed by proponents of this view. Wall. The Pentagon attack also generates considerable debate among conspiracy theorists. The nature of the damage and the lack of extensive debris are key points of contention. Some argue that the impact hole was too small for a Boeing 757. The absence of clear, high-resolution security footage further intensifies suspicions. The fate of Flight 93 in Shanksville also remains a source of alternative theories. Claims of a military shoot-down persist, despite official denials. Eyewitness accounts of other aircraft in the area are often cited as evidence. The widespread debris field is also seen as inconsistent with a simple crash. The controlled demolition theory for the Twin Towers is perhaps the most widely known. The rapid, symmetrical collapses are central to this argument. The presence of molten metal in the debris pile is another key piece of evidence for some. This molten metal suggests temperatures beyond what jet fuel fires could achieve. The stand-down theory posits that air defenses were deliberately held back. This would have allowed the hijacked planes to reach their targets unimpeded. The delays in scrambling interceptor jets are a major focus of this theory. The issue of foreknowledge also plays a significant role in conspiracy narratives. Allegations of insider trading on airline stocks before 9/11 are frequently cited. These unusual financial activities suggest prior knowledge of the attacks. The motivations attributed to an inside job are varied and complex. Some believe it was a pretext for military interventions in the Middle East. Others suggest it was to justify increased government power and surveillance. The Patriot Act is often presented as a direct outcome and motive. The official 9/11 Commission report is criticized by many theorists. They argue that key evidence was overlooked or intentionally omitted. Despite scientific consensus supporting the official narrative, the theories persist. The internet has been instrumental in the dissemination and evolution of these alternative viewpoints. Websites, documentaries, and online communities provide platforms for discussion. The emotional impact of 9/11 contributes to the enduring appeal of conspiracy theories. For some, the official explanation is too simple for such a catastrophic event. They seek a more complex explanation, one that assigns blame to powerful, hidden forces. The desire for accountability and justice also drives many adherents of these theories. They believe that a truly transparent investigation has not yet occurred. The Truth Movement encompasses a diverse range of individuals and groups. They actively organize events and campaigns to promote their views. The legacy of 9/11 continues to be debated and reinterpreted in various ways. The official narrative remains the dominant account. However, the inside job theories represent a persistent and influential counter-narrative. These theories challenge fundamental assumptions about government transparency and trustworthiness. The debate over 9/11's true nature is unlikely to subside in the foreseeable future. It reflects broader societal anxieties about power, control, and the nature of information.